Hey everyone, it is November 11th, 2023. It is Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you to those veterans who have served our country and put their lives on the line for our freedoms. I thank you personally for the sacrifice that you and your families have made for us. I wanted to talk briefly about the conflict that is going on over in the Middle East, and in particular, try to shock you with the prospect that Hamas is actually winning the war that is being waged over there right now. Let me pull up some stats here for just a moment. We have the Ukraine conflict and the Gaza conflict side by side. The Ukraine conflict has been going on for almost 2 years, and the Gaza conflict has been going on for just over 30 days now. But you'll notice that among the civilian deaths, we're talking about innocent men, women, and children, non combatants, all right? We have more deaths in the Gaza conflict in 30 days than in the Ukraine conflict over almost a 2 year period now. In particular, we have over 10,000 deaths that have occurred in the Gaza conflict, and a remarkable 4,100 plus are children. Not only that, but over 10,000 children have been hurt or injured. Now, when you take a look at numbers like that, you might be thinking to yourself, well, see, Israel is winning this conflict. They are winning this war. They are killing those people. They're killing those terrorists. But is that true? Let me ask you something. Do you think that Hamas wasn't ready for Israel's response? Do you think that they didn't anticipate that Israel was going to bomb the civilian population in Gaza? Based upon the 2014 Gaza war, it was predictable how Israel would react. Hamas, it appears, is totally in control. Using their own people as cannon fodder, Israel is playing right into their hands. Now, Hamas is a horrible organization, but they orchestrated a brilliant military operation. And if you think that it was only terrorism, well, then you are underestimating them, which only works to their advantage. This was a military operation with years of planning and training, and it accomplished three things, three of their objectives. First, it totally embarrassed Israel's intelligence and military apparatus in front of the entire world. Israel is touted as having one of the best intelligence agencies in the world. They had Gaza surrounded, and all of their high tech was focused on their own backyard. It's not inaccurate at all to say that Gaza is an open air prison. It is heavily monitored. Israel had one job, just one, and they still failed. Not only that, but Hamas fighters went head to head with two of Israel's premier units, military units, that is, and beat them. It exposes Israel's military as soft and weak, with soldiers who are combat adverse and can't kill except through distance through their technology, which Hamas beat. There will be leadership changes soon, of necessity, because Israel's leaders have shown themselves to be incompetent and cannot be allowed to stay in power. After this war, Benjamin Netanyahu will be gone and he'll likely be imprisoned. Second, Hamas was able to disrupt any normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel, which would have been a huge victory for Israel, would have been a game changer. In so doing, Hamas's operation made it clear that any future peace must include a two-state solution, which up until October 7th, it wasn't even on the table anymore. But now it is. Hamas was able to successfully change not only the status quo, but set Israel's plans for the region way back, which sets back the United States. See, we have our own strategic interests for the Middle East, and Israel's failure calls into question their reliability as a partner, giving Saudi Arabia and Turkey a strategic edge. The hard truth is Israel is only important to the United States in as much as they contribute to our strategic interests for that region. If we can find other ways to achieve our goals without Israel, as in through Saudi Arabia, well, then we will. Third, in addition to embarrassing Israel, capturing hostages, which is a horrifying thing, it gave Hamas leverage to demand the release of thousands of Palestinians who themselves had been detained and imprisoned by Israel without due process. And this was likewise able to get Israel to lash out against the Palestinian civilian population with emotional rage. Hamas truly sees the Palestinians as expendable. But every time a bomb kills innocent lives, it not only makes the case that Israel is engaged in war crimes, it also turns the international community against Israel. The predictability of Israel's response, and America's along with it, it only weakens Israel over time on the world stage. And it makes it pretty much a certainty that any future peace must include a two-state solution. Remember what happened when we barged into the Middle East after 9/11? We wanted vengeance. We wanted our pound of flesh. But we did so without any strategic goals or exit plans. We spent trillions of dollars, marred our image around the world, and ultimately lost that war. Not to mention the countless lives that were lost. If we want to be Israel's ally, then we should warn them about not repeating our mistakes. Hamas is calling for a ceasefire, knowing that Israel won't do it. All right, it's predictable. And this is part of Hamas's military strategy. They're playing Israel and U.S. warmongers like a fiddle. And quite frankly, it's embarrassing. In order for Israel to regain control, it must act in an unpredictable manner. You have to do what Hamas doesn't expect it to do. What would that be? Well, how about showing concern for human life, which Hamas is betting that Israel won't do? And that might include treating Gaza as the humanitarian disaster that it is. If it continues to act predictably, and Israel continues to commit war crimes in shelling helpless civilian populations, well, it loses. And as we all know, you can lose and still continue to exist. Something to think about. If you think I'm wrong, leave it in the comments. If you've never thought of something like this, well, welcome to the 21st century and warfare. It's things that we must think about. Have a good one.